Welcome to Lost on Ice, the show about the show 20 years later. Today, we're talking about Lost Season 5, Episodes 15 and 16, the finale. I'm Will, also here is Ben, and you can watch full video episodes of the podcast on YouTube. Ben and I also release a bonus Hangout show every week that can be found at patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. So we're 5 for 6 now, Ben. 5 down, 1 more to go.
Yeah.
We've seen the end of Season 5.
We're kind of old hats at the show. We're kind of super fans now.
I don't know if you said that right.
We're kind of old. It is old hat to us.
It is old hat to us. We are old heads about it now. I don't know if we are old hats ourselves.
I'm an old hat. I'm an old hat.
Yeah, now we're kind of lost pros, especially when definitely can back that up because I believe we were forgetting who like major characters were last episode. And I got to admit, I'm watching Lost very much kind of like how you would watch Tenet or something. Like I'm paying attention. I swear I'm paying attention, but I'm just kind of going with it. Like I can't quite remember. Like I was in one of these episodes. Like I can't quite remember if we're supposed to be like trusting Eloise or not. But I'm not thinking about it too hard, I guess.
Yeah, don't think about it too hard. This is vibes. This is a total, vibe thing. And we'll be redoing the whole podcast afterwards. We'll be rewatching the show on loop, and then that, folks, is when we're going to really hit our stride.
Yeah. But I feel like that's not even going to work very well because I'm bad at remembering very recent things. Anyway, not to sell ourselves short, we've got a hell of a show lined up for you, folks. This was a really good couple of episodes, I thought. A very strong end to the season. I've maybe kind of recently been not like too overly exuberant about like some of the latest stretch of season 5, but I would say this is probably the most confident and consequential end to a season that I can remember of Lost. It might be my favorite season finale, perhaps tied with the season 3 finale. But I really liked it.
Yeah, I think it's good. Good one. We watched a good couple episodes, but I've been. What was the word you used a minute ago? Exuberant.
Oh, exuberant.
Exuberant. I've been exuberanted up.
Yeah.
For the entire season.
You zoobin?
I've been.
Oh yeah.
Zoomed up. Go check the scoreboard, folks. I've been giving these 4s and 5s all season, I think.
I feel like you dished out 1-3.
Well, I don't want to appear to be biased,
Sure. No, but no, it has been a strong season. You're absolutely right. And like, I should remember the days of hunger, as they say, back in like season 2 or something. When if I knew that it was gonna be this good, I would have maybe kept my cool a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm not. I don't think I've said I've been dreading watching the show too much lately, which I feel bad saying at all. Like I like doing the podcast, and it's just it's a project. It's a lot of work, but it's been worth it, I would say, for the most part. Some great character moments in the last couple episodes that we saw here today too. And it was a fun experience too because Atticus was in town visiting, and we watched the finale with him. So he's finished the show already. So he went back and watched this episode with us.
Interesting.
And he said that he liked it better upon rewatch. So I think that that comment that we read a couple weeks ago from somebody saying that, yeah, like the rewatch is when it really hits. It's further backed up by what Atticus said. So let's just jump into it because we got a lot to cover. Because we've got a double long finale episode, but even before we can get there, we have to hit the penultimate episode, and that's season 5, episode 15, called Follow the Leader. This aired May 6th, 2009. It was directed by Stephen Williams, and it was written by Paul Zbyszewski and Elizabeth Sarnoff. This was the lowest recorded audience for a Lost episode ever.
Interesting. What happened?
I don't know.
Maybe there's something
I googled
going on.
what happened May 6th, 2009. Didn't get nothing obvious popped
broken.
up, but but I mean, I guess one episode has to be the lowest.
That's what I always tell my boss when I'm working at the TV factory, and we put out a stinker. One has to be the worst.
It seems surprising, like that something so close to a finale would be like that. But I guess like you wouldn't tune out and then tune back in, would you? I mean, you would clearly because it goes up and down. But it's
there
weird.
are a lot of crazy people in America. If you don't live in America, there's a lot of crazy people here, and they do stuff like that where they just be like, that last episode sucked, so I will be protesting by not watching the next one, but
I will be tuning.
Count on me in 2 weeks.
Yes. Yeah. Least incoherent American belief these days is randomly skipping out on TV episodes to prove a point, I suppose. All right. In 1977, following the events of the previous episode, The Variable, Jack Shepard and Kate Austin witness a young Eloise Hawking kill her son, Daniel Faraday. Jack turns to Kate in the bush and says, "What if this is our only chance to put things back to how they're supposed to be?" Kablam! And that's when Eloise takes out Daniel right there.
Yeah.
They argue over whether they should carry out Faraday's plan to detonate a hydrogen bomb in order to change the future. But while they're arguing, they are attacked and captured by the younger version of Charles Widmore. Eloise
Which I still can't believe that's not the old guy. It looks like the old guy to me. I'm very easily fooled. Also, Eloise looks like the woman too.
You think that's the old woman? All right.
Casting, great job.
There was some good casting in the finale for young characters, I would say. I mean, I'm not saying this is bad casting either, but like, you straight up thought it was the old man in a wig or something. It's not. And
to me, casting doesn't have anything to do with finding people that are good actors or anything. It's find the person who looks the absolute closest to the other guy. I appreciate that whoever was working on Lost in casting has the same casting philosophy as me.
It's
great.
They might not. So that's okay. It's your interpretation because it doesn't look. I don't want to like
similar.
knock the casting director because like he's doing a good job and it's like it works as a character. But I just think that he is not quite as identical as you are claiming.
I think it's the same guy. I think they went back in time and shot the show, actually.
Ben, you know that's not true. They couldn't have done that. Eloise believes their claim of being from the future and decides to take Jack's advice to detonate the bomb. Their goofy British accent makes it sound like they're saying, "Take them to the bum," over and over again. They're interested in seeing the bum. I would like the bum. That's what they keep saying.
Nice.
They travel with Richard Alpert to a pond, which has an underwater entry to a series of tunnels in which the bomb is stored. And I think this is only there because Lost never misses a chance to get some pants wet. The swim in some jeans.
Yeah.
Got to work it in this season.
Did I miss it? Richard swims too, right? He dives down there first.
Yeah.
He's not looking wet enough on the other side. Gotta say.
Well, he's able to dry out a little bit before Jack surfaces, maybe.
I guess, but not that much. Very unrealistic.
Wait, hold on. Actually, whoa, dude. Remember remember when he visits? This is like this is actually lore, because I think this is actually part of it. Because like, I mean, you're probably doing this on purpose to cue me, maybe. But remember when he visits Locke as a little boy, and he's like, "It's raining cats and dogs," and he's like all dry. Maybe guy just doesn't get wet.
I'm pointing at my brain for people on the podcast.
The tunnels lie beneath the site of the Dharma barracks. Kate does not want to take part in Jack's plan and leaves. However, an other refuses to let her go, prompting an unseen Saeed to shoot the other. Saeed the killer.
Saeed he's really lost it. Gotta say.
Yeah.
I can understand why. We'll get to it very soon, but you know, he's really lost it now. He's as they say in 2025, he is black pilled big time.
Yes. Saeed agrees to Jack's plan, but Kate still refuses and compares Jack to John Locke, whom Jack once regarded as crazy. She leaves the barracks and the others enter the tunnels. So let's talk about Jack and Kate here. And how Jack loses Kate. It's like classic Lost in that, you know, I'm just terribly frustrated with Jack in these episodes, but like I gotta hand it to the writers. His mission is absolutely perfect for his character. Like, it's a literalization of Jack's maniacal drive to pull off this one crazy trick to fix everything. He has this clinical. I'm reading from a comment on Reddit about this. Jack has a clinical, sterile view of his pain and past mistakes. It's something that needs to be excised and forgotten. Now he has a way to do that. Kate sees the bad as accentuating the good. She's got loads of baggage too, but isn't looking for a do-over. She has grown. The looks these two give each other throughout this exchange are so intense. It's love and frustration and sadness wrapped together. Jack wants to spare her from him. And so to Kate, and ending the quote there, but yeah, to Jack, the bad is not worth the good, and for Kate, it's the other way around. And we've got the clash of ideologies and missions here in these last couple episodes. At the Dharma barracks, Sawyer and Juliet are being held captive by Horace Goodspeed, Stuart Radzinski, and Phil.
Phil. Just
Dr.
Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah. No last name.
Sawyer does not answer any of Radzinski's questions, even after he is severely beaten and witnesses Phil strike Juliet. Doesn't Dharma have a torturer? We have like the Deadwood guy.
Yeah.
Who was there for like one episode. I was kind of surprised that we didn't see him again. The heck?
Yeah, good point. Well, he kind of got lowered in the minds of those people when he kind of messed up the torture last time, right?
Oh yeah, they thought that he wasn't effective anymore because Saeed was telling the truth, but it was so absurd that they didn't believe him and they thought that he wasn't effective. Maybe that. So okay. So yeah, we're seeing the old Sawyer come back. He's reemerging over this season, and he's forced out of his normal life. That tough, mean cowboy with a heart of gold, who can withstand any kinds of beatings and things like that. But you know, he's mean again in some ways. I really love the Sawyer arc this season a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch Horace now, I'll say. Luckily, we don't see too much of him anymore. After our last episode, we can talk a bit. That guy.
I just can't think of anything about his last name, to be honest, when he's on screen. Move over to Get Out of Lost and go to a James Bond movie, please.
Don't be in anything, my guy. Meanwhile, Dr. Pierre Chang confronts Hugo Hurley Reyes. Sorry, again, Wikipedia gives the full names every time, and sometimes I catch that or not. Confronts Hurley, Miles, and Jin as they ready their escape to the beach. Dr. Chang wants to know if Faraday was correct concerning time travel. This is a really good scene. Chang asks Hurley time-specific questions, which he fails to answer correctly. Hurley then concedes that they are indeed from the future. It's a very funny scene. Hurley embodies the spirit of this podcast. He has a total inability to navigate 20th century U.S. history. He's like, the Korean War hasn't happened yet.
That was a great scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine. We're from the future. I can't think of I don't know who the president is.
Yeah. Who actually?
I know we
was
just
it?
looked it up, too.
Was it Jimmy Carter?
My
It's
keyboard
not
stopped
Ron-
working.
Not even Ronald
I think
Reagan
it's
yet.
Ford.
Really?
Oh wait, no, you're right. Jimmy Carter, and then Ford was his VP.
Damn. It lasted a long. I mean, he did last a long time.
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter lasted
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miles
Have we
confirmed-
talked about Sawyer's name, by the way?
LaFleur or
Yeah, but
Sawyer
LaFleur.
or what?
LaFleur.
Okay, what about it?
First name? Jim.
Jim.
But his name is Sawyer. Is that a little weird? Is that a little Huck Finn people? Isn't that a little weird? Jim. Do you remember who Jim is from?
Yeah, in Huckleberry Finn. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just short
Tom
for
Sawyer.
James.
No, but
Yeah.
yes, but there's a character named Jim. Do you remember
Yeah.
who Jim is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jim's a slave,
Yes.
and he's the slave who he tries to paint the fence, right? Tries to get to do his chores, paint the fence, I think.
That's in Tom's Huckleberry Finn and
Tom Sawyer.
Jim.
Yes.
And Jim navigate the river, right? They're on the Mississippi. Isn't that what happens?
I don't
in Huck
remember.
Finn?
Actually, I don't remember that part. But Tom Sawyer tries to get Jim to do his chores, paint the fence.
Yes. I thought he. I don't think I read Tom Sawyer. Who made him? Or who did he make paint the fence?
Jim.
Is that true? Dang.
Yeah. Sawyer making Jim do the work. I don't really have a thesis here. I'm just kind
Yeah,
of
you're right.
squinting at it and saying, is there something weird going on there?
He turned from the con man into
Is
the
that bad?
conned?
The con? Yeah.
Interesting.
But also kind of racist thing, in the book.
Yeah. I think I watched some I'm realizing now that my knowledge of the Tom Sawyer I read a Huckleberry Finn, but I didn't read the Tom Sawyer stuff, the original text. And if I remember, I feel like I watched some PBS adaptation of it. And in the adaptation, Tom Sawyer convinces other neighborhood kids to paint the fence for him.
In 2025, there would be no racism because Tom would convince ChatGPT to paint the fence for him instead.
Yeah. It brings a different guy who's learning about Tom Sawyer for the first time, I guess. 2025. Damn, this kid's up to no good. Okay, back to Lost. Miles confirms. We'll get into racism more this episode. We will actually. We've got a bit on this. All right. Not a bit. There's this not an or seg. We're doing our racism segment later. No, we've got some racial analysis later. All right. What? That's better.
Probably a worse way to say it, but okay, sure.
We don't know what we're about to do. Miles confirms that he is Chang's son and supports Faraday's request for the island to be evacuated. Chang informs Horace and Radzinski of this, and Sawyer makes a deal to leave the island on the submarine in exchange for telling them what they want to hear. Sawyer and Juliet, followed by Kate, are placed aboard the submarine in handcuffs. The sub departs, and as he boards the submarine, Sawyer looks back at the island. Last season, he was about to leave the island on the helicopter, and he jumped off at the last minute. And I think the audience was supposed to expect he'd do something similar this time, like jump into the water or something. But he says, "Good riddance," and climbs down. Man, I've said it many times, but I really like Sawyer and Juliet, and Kate's presence isn't good for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, shouldn't be mad at Kate, because it's not necessarily her fault for being a dang homewrecker. But I regret that she's screwing up Sawyer and Juliet, what they got going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I resent anybody in any of the episodes who's not just going with the flow at this point, not just doing crazy stuff, you know?
Good point. Yeah.
Come on, guys. You've been around here 5 seasons now. Just do something crazy. Just go with the flow. I do like when they're in the submarine and they're talking about, like, you know, should we go back? Should we stay here? And then people saying, like, we got to go back. We got to get out of here. And then I'm imagining Sawyer doing I mean, I know it's not really dumb, but kind of jumping out of a helicopter is a little bit of a dumb guy hero thing to do. And I just was imagining doing the same thing in the submarine, like honorably being like, I'll get off the submarine, and then opening the hatch.
No!
Save yourselves.
All right. 30 years in the future, in 2007, following the events of the episode Dead is Dead, Locke meets with Richard at the other's camp, tells him that he now has a purpose. And okay, we've seen where the Locke story goes in the finale here as we're talking about this, but with that in mind, I am remembering our conversation about how Locke has his swag back now. Like, ever since he's returned to the island, he's swaggy now.
Yep. He's got a little wry smile all the time. What's up? I'm back.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he's got a raw smile. Sun confronts Richard about the fate of her husband and the other survivors stranded in the past. Sun really, like, pretty much in the backseat for this episode. Or for this whole season.
Whole season. She's just vibing out, which, gotta say,
Jin.
Appreciate, you know? I appreciate that.
Yeah, she's embodying the, like, go with the flow and do something crazy mindset that you're promoting. But we just don't spend too much time with her, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Or Jin.
She probably dealt, you know, she dealt with, like, most of her pain of the island for the previous 3 years or whatever. You know, there's a lot of people here who are kind of being thrown back into the chaos, thrown back into all of the pain that the island has wrought or whatever. She dealt with all that. She has been dealing with all that for 3 years or whatever now. So yeah, kind of makes sense.
She's more prepared to meet it head on in some ways, maybe.
Yeah.
Richard grimly informs Sun that he watched all of those other survivors die. Locke, Richard, and Ben Linus travel to the location where the time-jumping Locke will appear, so that Richard can remove...
Can I ask one question about the Sun and Richard thing?
Okay.
Why does Sun ask the question the way that she asks it, which is, did you see these people? Were you here 30 years ago and did you see these people? Richard and Sun should know that Richard knows all of these people. I know that Sun hasn't met Richard before, but it seems like she would have just asked, did all these people survive, or did you run into Jack or whatever?
Why
She asked it in
would
a
she know
very
about Richard? She was just told like, oh, he's an advisor and he's been here for a very, very long time, and that prompts her to go ask him.
but
Well, if you were
she,
here for a very, very long time, would you have seen these people?
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I guess maybe you're right. It just, in the moment, it really confused me the way that she asked it, because it seems like it implied, and even the way that Richard answered it, it's like it was trying to imply that I guess Richard didn't really know them that well, which is definitely not the case.
Wait, why does he not know? I don't think he really knows them that well.
But he knew all of, I mean, since the very beginning of the series, right? Like he knew just as much as Ben knew about
Well, he's
them.
in 1977 at the time, right? No. Sorry, that's they're 2007.
Not
Yeah.
when
Okay, so they're at the most. They're
Sun.
the furthest up to date. Yeah. Um.
Maybe it was just, I don't know. I guess it's just how it's written. And you're right about like Sun doesn't really know everything that Richard knows, or she doesn't have a good frame of reference. It just seemed like she would have asked it more in a more personal way. And it seemed like he would have answered in a more personal way, because he's just like, he kind of like looks at the picture and is like, yes, I know these people and whatever. And I know that they all died. I watched them all
Well, then
die.
maybe does that mean that they were able to change the past or something,
Hmm.
or the future?
I actually don't know.
Because maybe they're written around that.
If I should, yeah, maybe you're right. If I should know this from seeing this in the past, I really don't remember at this point. I genuinely am confused about this, but we'll see.
Okay. I guess we'll see. Locke, Richard, and Ben Linus travel to the location where the time-jumping Locke will appear so that Richard could remove the bullet from his leg and tell him what needs to be done, as we saw in Because You Left. Ben looks at Locke and he says, "How did you know when to be here?" Michael Emerson loves saying when and where. And what are you saying?
Nice.
He also asks Locke, "This must be quite the out-of-body experience." And Locke says something like that.
Watching John run through the other John run through the forest is kind of funny, though.
Run through the jungle.
Run through the jungle, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're on an island, you can call it a forest.
Oh, I was just having fun with the pun. I wasn't trying to correct you. Just jungle.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. They return to the camp, where Locke speaks to the others and tells them that they are going on a trip to see Jacob, from whom they take their orders but have never met. Locke tells Sun that Jacob will know how to save their friends. However, he later admits to Ben that his plan is not to ask Jacob for help, but to kill him. Locke is on his find and kill God mission.
Oh, Ben is the biggest eyes you've ever seen on that guy.
Yeah. You what? You want me to what? Overall, 4 stars. Let's go, baby. I really like this episode.
Yeah, same here.
People didn't seem too hot on it online, but like there's like it's kind of a weak penultimate. But like I don't know, I really dug it.
Maybe because they didn't show up and watch it on the first night, like us back in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
We were
They're
there.
doing something else on May 6th.
May 6, 2009. I actually did
Yeah.
search what was going on May 6, 2009. And they said banks like Bank of America and Citigroup were awaiting the results of government stress tests from the
That's what's
2008
going on.
financial crisis. So I think everybody was tuned into that.
Mm-hmm.
H1N1 was starting to spread globally.
Oh, dude, H1N1 was huge for my high school.
It also says that Facebook was rapidly growing. Instagram and TikTok did not even exist yet. So they were
busy working on building TikTok. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is making a lot of sense now.
The closest thing yet, though, here's the real answer. The movie Star Trek, directed by J.J. Abrams, was just about to be released in theaters. It would be premiering on May 7th and 8th in many places. So maybe all these lost heads were waiting in line at their local
The real there we go.
Star Trek.
Did you ever see that? The Chris Pine Star Trek?
No.
I really liked it. But I've also not seen like the original stuff, so I think it was kind of I think the real Trekkies didn't really like them, but although they were good.
I don't know anything about Star Trek. Any of them.
What if I make you watch every episode of Star Trek?
Space?
We do that for so long. Yeah. This episode of Lost on Ice is brought to you by Ben and I. Thanks for listening to the pod. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and telling a friend about the show. We're also over on Patreon, patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Check us out. Let's move on into the finale of season 5. This is episode 16/17, depending on how you are watching it. It was bundled together it's one episode on the Blu-ray and 2 episodes on Netflix and maybe other places. It aired May 13th, 2009. It was directed by Jack Bender, and it was written by Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse. And I don't know if you noticed this, Ben, but the titles or the opening credits for this episode said like part 1 was written by Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse. Part 2 was written by Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof.
Interesting. Little fight going on there. It probably makes sense,
or
right?
a way of sharing credit.
Or share credits, yeah. You want to be first credit. So what if we had 2 episodes so we could each be first? Mm-hmm. Smart.
Because that's how the Coens did it forever, right? Where like they would both direct a movie, but DGA rules were such that you can't have 2 directors, and so that's why like half of them are directed by Joel Coen and half of them are directed by Ethan Coen. Until they allowed them to say
the twin rule. I guess they're not twins. They introduced a twin rule and then they rolled it out to siblings instead. And then just 2
they
guys
screwed up and they're like,
and then just 2
oh
guys.
Damn, we selected all in the drop down.
Yep.
So we watched this finale episode with Atticus, and that was fun. Let's jump into it because we got a lot to do here. Flashbacks at the beginning of this, some time, seemingly a long time ago, but we see a flashback. But again, it's gotten in the way of me watching the show, but I now like expect like there to be like a twist in every single scene, like misdirection in every single shot. Basically, we're like, okay, we see Jacob weaving a tapestry inside a temple-like room.
We see a guy. We see a guy who turns out to be Jacob.
The guy turns out to be Jacob, but like, I was definitely like, all right, he's gonna whip out like a Palm Pilot any second here, and it's gonna be like, oh, guess what? It was actually in 2002.
This is just a funky ass white guy,
right?
Just weaving.
Yeah,
this is Brooklyn.
He's doing some Rumpelstiltskin ass behavior in this room. But we didn't get that. Apparently, it is a very long time ago. So he goes and he catches a fish in like a trap, and he eats that fish near the statue of Toweret, and he is visited by Bosch.
Yeah. I don't think we know that the statue's called that yet, do we?
Oh, I thought it's just like an Egyptian god, though. So, like, if you knew that.
Okay. Wow. To me, I don't know that. So
I mean,
I'll
I don't know what that means.
I won't know that until 10 more years into the future when I get around to learning Egyptian stuff.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, I guess like I don't know what to redact from the Wikipedia, but the Wikipedia calls it that.
You should redact any knowledge that we don't all know, even if it's general world knowledge.
We just forgot. Like it was.
Don't even call it an Egyptian god. I don't know about Egypt. Don't know about Egypt.
We haven't established Egypt as in this show. The Red Sox do exist in the world of Lost. So Egypt, yes. Not sure.
Does Bosch?
But Bosch is going to exist. They do another flash forward, and Titus Welliver is starring in Bosch the Return, or whatever. He's also in Deadwood, like so many other actors that we've seen in Lost. I really love that the Lost to or the Deadwood to Lost pipeline. Very excellent. But yeah, he's a real that guy. You know, like you notice him. I mean, I've never even seen Bosch, but I know that's Bosch.
Yeah, I've seen him in other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah.
But yeah, Bosch comments that the man comments that Jacob has brought the Black Rock to the island and states he will eventually find a loophole so he can kill Jacob.
Very edgy.
I guess that was the Black Rock. I might have missed that. Or it's another Wikipedia drop.
Everybody hates Jacob.
Everybody hates Jacob. And Jacob says, it only ends once. Anything that happens before that is just progress.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. We
Roger.
Get flashbacks. What?
Roger, dude. This is why everybody hates. Jacob. This is why everybody hates you. Quit saying weird ass shit like that.
Just want you to stop saying odd shit. Yeah. We get a series of flashbacks throughout the episode where Jacob appears in the characters' backstories. At different points in their lives. What?
Yes, this is great. Yeah. I love this. Sorry.
This was really great. Yeah. Various characters encounter Jacob, and let's start with Kate. As a child, Kate is visited by Jacob after being caught stealing a lunchbox. He pays for it to keep the shopkeeper from calling the police. And so this is the good casting that I thought. I thought that this kid looks just like a young Evangeline Lilly.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I gotta say, this is the furthest for me of the younger cast deans. I don't think they look that similar.
Okay. Well, we know it's Kate, so whatever.
We know it's Kate. Yeah, we know it's Kate.
We also know that it's Iowa due to the CG corn and the bumper sticker that says Iowa Cattlemen, which is almost certainly ironic, probably, right? Like that's I wonder if all the Iowans wrote in over the course of the show and said like, there are no cattle in Iowa, dumbass, and so they on purpose put that in there again.
You also know it's Iowa because somebody off in the background is talking about driving down Ames Road.
Ames Road,
which is how we
they're at Ames Central Store.
Ames Central Store, yeah. Mm. I love driving down New York City Avenue in my hometown of New York. New York.
Does Ames Road, is that real?
Doubt it, but maybe not. I don't know.
Could be. It sure could be.
I guess it could be. Did you guys have a Cedar Rapids street?
There is an Ames Road, but it is in Missouri.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. We forgot. You mentioned the corn. I forgot to mention the quite long shot of a PS1 submarine I think it
Oh,
was in the previous episode. That
yeah.
was pretty awesome too.
I love seeing that stuff. And like, yeah, I love seeing like CG like ages so horribly. Like even going back to CG stuff that I thought looked like photo real even like 5 years ago, like now is like obviously screaming CG. So like I don't I think they were doing a really good job with the CG in Lost. I don't want to knock it too bad. Um,
It
but
seemed
yeah,
the submarine shot seemed very unnecessary, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. As a person who's never made a film or been involved or anything, that seems like the kind of thing that you could do, you could achieve the rhetoric that you want out of a shot without having a submarine at
well,
all in the shot. Maybe.
my guess is how it went because I think what happened with this submarine set was basically that they like were in like basically like a museum in Hawaii that they had like the one room that they could film that all submarine stuff in.
Oh,
And I noticed that like the coverage was very very limited. Where like it is just kind of in this one room, and there was probably like we need like an establishing shot of the sub or something, and
sure.
just to like give it a little bit of rhythm or flow to it. Like I can imagine making that call. Like, can we just like throw in one shot of an exterior, get one thing, and then that would feel a lot bigger that way. And I don't the
Sure.
Blu-ray. Maybe it looks different on streaming, but like the Blu-ray, I thought it looked totally good. Not
Oh,
like not like photo real, but it didn't look like PS1 to me.
maybe there is a different cut. I've got the PS1 cut. I don't know.
Maybe,
I'll have to show you a screenshot or something. Maybe there's a difference.
yeah, I'd be interested. Um, yeah, and again, the CG corn I'm not calling out as bad either. I just noticed that it was CG.
I didn't notice. I really didn't notice that part. That I mean, I probably noticed it, but it didn't really register with me. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
it really is there's a different
different cut.
submarine cut.
The corn cut. Yeah. Anything else we want to say about Kate's flashback that Jacob
Jacob
stops her from going to jail?
boops her on the nose. Alarms going
Yes.
off. Little sus, my dude.
Well, okay, we know that. So he has to make physical contact with every person that he meets, and so they're like, "What is the safest way for this adult man to touch a young girl?" And we're gonna go with a cheeky boop to the nose, in full view of other adults. I
Seems like the
guess.
kind of thing Kate would not abide by. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, like it's better than like just like grabbing her arm. I mean, better than a lot of things. But like, what do you're trying to give some sort of benevolence? Maybe you could be like, all right, get out of here, low five.
there you
I would
go.
maybe offer a low five that you can deny if you'd like.
Sure.
Anyway, but yes, he boops her nose. Then let's talk about Sawyer's behind or backstory here. An 8-year-old Sawyer is visited after his parents' funeral. He has started writing his letter to the con man Tom Sawyer, but his pen runs out of ink.
Hello, Mr. Snowman.
Wait, Mr. Police, you mean?
Mr. Oh yes, sorry.
Yeah,
I forgot. That's why I got kicked out of that writing for that
that writer's room
movie.
Jacob gives him a replacement pen, and but that guy, there's like some adult in Sawyer's life who says like on the day of Sawyer's parents' funerals, it's
You
like,
gotta get over it.
yeah, get on with it, man. Like, don't think about it. God, don't dwell.
Little bro, let me give you some advice. You gotta get over it.
I mean, that was basically the advice, kind of
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. And also, like, the last thing you want to do is like write about your feelings to express them as a kid. Like, if you've got an outlet for dealing with this, like, definitely don't.
I don't think it said like, wait, did it, how far did he get in that? Like, does it say, I mean, does it say,
He doesn't say I'm gonna kill you.
I'm going to kill you? Yeah.
No, it's just like,
I'm going to get you or whatever. Yeah.
like, I know what you did.
So it really is like, this whole journaling thing.
Yeah.
Very
Give this
sus.
shit up.
Do not
Yeah.
do that. You promise me, bro, you will not keep writing about your feelings. Bottle that up now.
Yeah. I mean, and it seems like that's kind of what happened after he finished the letter and was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep the rest of this locked up. Saeed's backstory.
This is a case, I forget why you were saying this earlier, or reminded me of this earlier, of like kind of trying to balance things out. Or I said I didn't want to be biased. This is Jacob's sort of like, oh, I wouldn't want to just do nice things to everybody in their past.
He does a nice thing. He in his nudging.
Okay, go proceed.
Because what happens here is that Saeed and Nadia, they are married. They are waiting for the sidewalk, the cross light to what's that? I'm blanking what that's called. The crossing light.
Crosswalk. Crossing
Crosswalk.
light.
Thank you. The light to change to say that they can walk across the crosswalk. And
People in Commonwealth countries. Okay, folks online, you can correct
incoming
me on
pervert
this.
talk. Let's go.
Don't correct me on this. They call that like red man and green man
Whoa.
because they have red and green, but still, little baby talk, a little too baby talk for me. Maybe not all of the Commonwealth countries, but
so one of them's a slur.
I've just kind of picked that up over time. I've heard people from Commonwealth countries call it red man and green man.
Can't be saying one of those.
Can't be saying that.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're waiting for the go ahead, shall we say, and the light to turn. It turns, and then Jacob has like a map, and as they step out into the street, Jacob's like, "Wait, hey sir, can you help me with something?" And he like kind of like shows the map, and then so he turns around, he's like, "Yeah, sure, let me help you." Nadia continues on and gets like absolutely wiped out by a car. Very intense car stunt, I thought. Like they brought in, yeah. Maybe unnecessarily.
Very unnecessarily, I think, yeah. Shelly and I have been watching. Shelly likes to watch, like dramas, like a lot of K-dramas and things like that, and they love to have this exact same shot as well. Person walks into the street and turns around and says,
it is a great shot.
Oh, one more thing, and then at 100 miles an hour, whatever, fly up into the air. I'm not following though you on what's the nice part? Saving Saeed from seeing that?
He saved Saeed from being hit by the bus or the car. Not the bus.
Did he? Maybe Saeed would have saved Nadia. You got two people looking, because Nadia wouldn't have turned around.
And he could have prevented both of them from being hit. But like, I do think that like part of Saeed's journey back to the island is that he becomes black pilled, and so like he's just out for revenge. And so ultimately I agree with you. But it was like stop Saeed from getting hit by the car at the expense of Nadia getting hit.
Sure, yeah. Because I mean, skipping ahead about 30 seconds. He meets Hurley, and he's just like, Hurley, you should go back to the island.
Yeah.
Okay. Kate,
I mean, you could talk to...
Here's a free lunchbox and a get-out-of-jail-free card, Sawyer, a little pen on your worst day ever, kind of not the best gesture, but not bad. Saeed killed your wife. Get your ass back to the island.
Yeah. Ilana's backstory, or Ilana's story, she is visited by Jacob in a Russian hospital who asks her for her help. She's like covered in burns, and bandages or something. Evidently, we don't see what's under there, but apparently it's burns. I don't know. And
tattoos, fresh face tattoos.
All right, let's talk about Locke's backstory here. After being pushed out of a window by his father, that we love that scene so much, Locke apparently dies. However, Jacob stands up, walks over to him, and Locke comes back to life. So we've seen that shot before, like him like falling out of the window. And we see we might have even seen Jacob on the bench reading a book, and there was just like a crash, boom, somebody hit the ground, 8 stories.
Do you remember what book he was reading?
Yes, I do. Do you?
Flannery O'Connor.
Mm-hmm.
Don't remember sorry, you're gonna have to remind me. It's been a little bit.
Everything That Rises Must Converge. Written by Flannery O'Connor, a Iowa Writers Workshop graduate. It was first published in 1965.
A former cattleman.
Former cattleman and fellow Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I think it's funny to refer to Iowa Writers Workshop graduates as Hawkeyes.
Let's go Hawks.
Let's go Hawks. Flannery O'Connor. But, okay, so do you know anything about Everything That Rises Must Converge, the book?
No. Nope.
Okay. So it's the title of a short story. So it's a collection of short stories, and that's like the title of one of the short stories in there. It's Everything That Rises Must Converge. I looked into this because, like, okay, what's the point? Like, they made a meal out of showing the book here. And so we're gonna do a little bit of a analysis here. All right, so Everything That Rises Must Converge is a short story about a racist white woman and her more liberal-minded adult son during a short bus trip, presumably, or in the 1960s, probably. The son, whose name is Julian, daydreams about sticking it to his mom by befriending a black person, but fumbles an interaction with a black man on the bus by asking for a light, despite not smoking or even having cigarettes. So he's basically like, oh man, I really want to own my mom by like being friends with a black person. Hey man, can you spare a light? And he's like, there's like a no smoking sign on the bus, and he's like, okay, but there's like a no smoking sign, and he's like, no, it's okay, like it's cool. And he's like, well, do you have a cigarette? Like, no. And so like it's just like a weird, bad interaction. And then nice. Further in the story, a black woman boards the bus with her small child, her young son. Julian notices that the woman is wearing the same ugly hat as his mom and hopes that will own her. Be like, haha, you're wearing an ugly hat the same as this black woman. But instead, his mom is delighted by the little kid and tries to play peekaboo with him. And the kid's mom like chastises her son and says like, get away from her. Don't interact with her. As they get off the bus, she reaches Julian's mom, racist mom, digs into her purse and pulls out a penny to give the child a penny. And the kid's mom smacks her with her gigantic purse and knocks Julian's mom to the ground. And Julian rushes over to lecture his mom about the optics of handouts to white people giving black people handouts. But she is seriously injured, and the story ends there. So I'm going to try my hand at analysis here. So Julian in this story is wielding his ideology disingenuously. He wants his mother to be embarrassed and to make a show of appearing more progressive than her. Even though he is on the right side of the moral issue, like he's more liberal-minded than her about integration, it's more about social posturing than anything else. Lost is a story about conflicting ideologies and the fallout from their clashes. Everything That Rises makes a point of reflecting on an outgoing social order, slavery and segregation, and one incoming, integration. The order of the island is in conflict as well. Locke intends to shake things up with his administration. And that's, oh, and the title I think is maybe an interesting one to connect here. So the title echoes Jacob's line at the beginning of the episode. He says, something along the lines of anything that happens before the end is progress. Everything converges at the end. Lostopedia's triad analysis is as follows. John Locke, in a way, has risen literally on a high floor of a tall building and is now converging with the ground.
That's pretty close. That's better than what I would have said. I would have just said, yeah, the mom falls down, Locke falls down.
He converges with the ground.
Nice.
I don't even know how you get what do you mean in a way he has risen literally on a high floor? Like he presumably needed to be in an elevator to get up there at some point?
He wasn't born up there, so he had to at least climb the stairs.
He had to rise somehow.
Elevator. He had to rise somehow. He's converged with the ground.
Converging with the ground.
That's great. That's a great way to put it. That is much better, much funnier than my dumb fake analysis to try to put it in smart guy terms. He's converged with the ground.
Shout out to whoever tried on that one. There was I guess we'll get back to this at some point, and then they forgot to read the story or something. I don't know.
You should try to edit it with yours, and then
I'm sure that everyone will be listening to the podcast, and it will be updated accordingly.
Well, do that, and then it will be reverted. Citation needed on yours, and then back to the more obvious answer: he converged with the ground.
All right. Sun and Jin's run-in with Jacob is very funny. At their wedding, Jacob tells them that their love is special. White man stuns couple by offering ominous blessings in perfect Korean.
Yo, who was that guy? I don't know, but he was really good at Korean.
Yep. And so Jack's run in with Jacob here. After performing his first solo surgery on a young girl, Jack tries to buy a chocolate bar from a vending machine and argues with his father, Christian, for interrupting him during the surgery. Jacob buys the same bar and gives Jack one of them.
Yeah. This is when I started to laugh out loud to myself about the Saeed thing. Like imagining Jack and Saeed being like, oh yeah, I met this guy once. Oh yeah, me too. What did he do for you? I turned around and he killed my wife. And oh Jack, what did he do for you?
Whoa.
He gave me a candy bar.
There wasn't any other way to it seemed like everyone else kind of just because it wasn't even like only Hurley got like the actual pitch about it, right? Like it just seemed like it was some like minor nudge or something, right? Like and then like that seriously, that was the only way you could get me to go back to the island, man. All right. But I really enjoyed Christian bullying Jack into locking in during the surgery.
Yeah,
that was excellent.
Jack was big time baby though, complaining to his dad afterwards. You embarrassed me in front of my entire team. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you needed to.
What's now?
Maybe get better than Jack. I don't know.
Yeah,
like
get good like me. Lead. What do they call it? Lead doctor? Top?
I don't know.
Doctor?
Head surgeon, something like that.
Head surgeon, Christian Shepherd.
I mean, I really do relish this dynamic of like a lesser show would have Christian be like more overbearing and Jack be like just like uber talented, right? But just like he can't step out of the shadow of his father. But like they do make Jack like a bit of a weakling, and like he's good, but he's not the man the way that Christian is.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's such a delicious dynamic.
Christian, I always think of the Christian Bale visiting people in the hospital, like little kid meme or whatever, when I think of Christian and Jack together. Jack in my mind is atheist shepherd. Christian shepherd is Christian shepherd because Christian shepherd totally owns this surgery, saves woman from near death. Atheist shepherd crying to his dad about getting embarrassed at the last surgery that he fucked up or whatever.
And now Hurley's backstory, Hurley's flashback. Hurley is visited after being released from prison. Hurley's still in a funny scene. He's trying to stay in prison. He's saying like, "I killed those guys. You don't want to let me go. I'm just gonna go kill more guys." And they're like, taxi stands out front. But
I feel like it doesn't work that way. I think cops want to put you in jail. I feel like if you said,
yeah,
I'm gonna go kill more people.
Yeah. That guy just can't stay in jail. That's his problem. So that so many people are facing in this incarceration system.
They kept his fruit roll up for him.
That's true. Actually, yeah, the items that they return to Hurley are the other items that Jacob hands out, I believe, right? So like he hands like a candy bar, the fruit roll up, a pen. That was something that he gives to Sawyer. And a lunchbox. No, I guess I don't know. I don't know what the thing or like money. Someone said that like the same items that he gives everybody else, that Hurley gets them all back from the prison. Whatever, I'm not sure. But they're sharing a taxi outside of the prison. Jacob tells Hurley that he may be blessed and that his ability to see dead people could be a gift. He tells Hurley about Flight 316 and leaves a guitar case for him. He leaves it in the car, and Hurley's like, "Hey, you forgot your guitar case." And he says, "It's not mine."
That's a gun. That's a mafia-style gun case.
Mm-hmm. Jacob makes physical contact, like we mentioned, with each of the characters in their respective scenes, except for Ilana. And we see one other flashback in this episode that does not feature Jacob. We see Juliet's parents tell her and her sister Rachel that they're getting divorced, claiming that they were not meant to be together.
Yep.
So Jacob was not there. All right. Done with the flashbacks. Here in 1977, Kate, Juliet, and Sawyer are on a submarine leaving the island. Kate convinces Juliet and Sawyer to stop Jack from detonating the hydrogen bomb. They force the captain to surface, instructing the captain to continue on course away from the island.
Well, sorry. Can we stop?
Yeah.
Oh, my Audacity stopped recording right at the hour mark. Shit.
Oh, damn.
Or
okay.
sorry, not
at
the hour mark.
Your video's still recording, right?
My video's still recording. Yeah.
I think we'll be okay. I haven't used your Audacity in weeks.
Hello. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we'll be good then. Sorry about that.
Okay. No, you're good.
I just noticed that it stopped. Okay.
On the island, they are greeted by Vincent, who has been in the care of Rose Henderson and Bernard Nadler for the past 3 years. It's so good to see Vincent again. I didn't know if we'd see him anymore since these time jumpings.
Is it the dog? Vincent the dog? The real dog?
Vincent the dog.
No. I mean, the real, outside of acting, same dog. Did you have
What do you mean
check?
outside of acting?
I mean, is it the same?
Is it the same dog actor?
Same dog actor. Yeah.
I believe they kept the same dog actor for the whole show, but
okay.
I guess.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Rose and Bernard live near the beach, avoiding detection by the Dharma Initiative. Rose points them to the Dharma barracks, and they leave. At one point, Rose like pronounces it like Dharma Initiative, which I appreciated, and she says, "It's always something with you people." They're a good stand-in for that, like the bullshit that follows this gang of folks.
Yeah.
The main survivors, I guess. Meanwhile, Jack and Saeed dismantle the bomb in the tunnels underneath the barracks to remove the core. So Saeed is always there, especially in like the finales of seasons, to like confidently and correctly handle all technical issues. Like he has never once faltered. He's equally able to replace the batteries in a walkie-talkie as dismantling a hydrogen bomb. I always appreciate that. Like, oh yeah, let me get all these communication systems up and running. Let me get this tower going. And he's doing it in like no light either. It's all just like mechanical stuff, and I got you. It's all electronics. I can do it all. How hard could it be? Richard and a younger Eloise assist them in entering the barracks through the basement of one of their houses. Richard knocks out Eloise to prevent her from traveling with them because she is pregnant. He says, like, she ordered me to help you, and I've helped you, and she'll be mad when she wakes up, but that's better than dead. You're on your own. Saeed dons a Dharma jumpsuit, and they almost escape. But Roger Linus recognizes him and shoots him.
Big firefight.
Big firefight. And I did like, listen, I'm not one to be too generous to Jack, but I did enjoy him. He goes like psycho mass shooter mode.
Yeah, he does.
Crazy in this.
Yeah.
He just uncorks. Just walks towards people, firing at him.
All of a sudden, he's just like pissed off, like one shot, and then he's just like kind of.
Guess what? I'm the Punisher.
Leans into it. Yeah, I'm gonna cop mode.
Yeah. Jack and Saeed escape in a van driven by Hurley, along with Jin and Miles. Saeed is still grievously injured, though. Hurley drives to the construction site of the Swan, while Jack treats Saeed's wounds. However, they are stopped by Juliet, Sawyer, and Kate. Was this the end of the episode? Part 1?
Can't quite register where it ends.
This is where we stopped for dinner.
Okay.
We paused this episode and ate dinner, and then returned.
Nice. You got the full effect, the Netflix effect.
So Sawyer thinks that they should not change the past. Jack claims it is destiny to do it, and that John Locke has always been right about the island. Jack and Sawyer get into a fist fight, which is broken up by Juliet, who now agrees with Jack. She tells Sawyer that although they love each other, they are not meant to be together. So let's break down this scene. I'm absolutely pumping my fist during the Jack and Sawyer fist fight. It is fun to see them slug it out. Sawyer's the man. I really like Sawyer. He's become probably my favorite character over the course of the show. And my heart breaks for him and Juliet. Kind of feels like there should be a less extreme way of working through this issue in their relationship besides setting off a nuke. But I guess I get it. But it's just sad. Like, they do a good job of just showing those, just like the little flashes of Juliet seeing Sawyer look at Kate and like her heart breaking inside in it. And like they do a good job. It's not like Sawyer went and like kissed her or even did like anything like to like he slipped up and called her freckles once. But like he was at no point like anything less than like totally faithful to Juliet. Except for maybe going to see them initially too, I guess. But like I don't think Sawyer did anything wrong. But Juliet is just she's thinking about that time when her parents said like that they still love each other, but they just can't be together anymore. And she tells Sawyer, I know you'd be with me forever if I let you, which is why I have to do this or something like that. Like she knows that like he is faithful to her and loves her. And she says that like if I never meet you, I'll never have to lose you, as a justification for why we should set off the bomb. Ooh, tough stuff. And I really like Josh Holloway does a great performance here as Sawyer with just the like, what is going on with this? Like, like Jack, you can't. Like, listen, man, like, you just can't blow up the island. There's, like, people here. He's, like, beating them up, whatever. And then, like, Juliet kind of says, like, I agree with Jack now. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, we were just saying that we needed to stop him. Like, what is going on? And, like, he just really sells the, like, desperation and, like, you owe me an explanation here. And then, like, I don't know. He's such a cool character. We're like, all right, if we're doing this, we're doing this. And like commits to, okay, we're helping Jack now. And then they lock in on that. So meanwhile, Dr. Chang continues drilling into the energy source beneath the construction site of the Swan Station on the orders of Stuart Radzinski. With everyone now in agreement, Jack enters the construction site while security officer Phil arrives with a team of armed men. A gunfight ensues wherein the survivors gain the upper hand, allowing Jack to drop the bomb into the pit while the drill hits the energy source. The bomb fails to go off, though, and the pocket is breached, attracting every metal object in the area. In the ensuing chaos, Dr. Chang's arm is crushed. Phil is stabbed by a rebar, and Juliet is dragged into the chasm.
Yeah. Juliet immediately, caught in a spider's web of chains, basically. Mm-hmm. Phil, yeah, big time.
Brutal death.
R.I.P.
Skewered.
Very cool.
Sawyer attempts to pull Juliet up out of the hole, and Juliet professes her love for him before falling. They can't reach the chains to unwrap her, and they had the don't let go kind of thing.
I always turn into a little bit of a Neil deGrasse Tyson in this type of scene, specifically like a magnet thing, wondering like, could this happen? How does that work? How could a magnet be?
Are you literally saying fucking magnets, how do they work right now?
No.
On our podcast? Okay.
No. But I'm wondering if you could somebody have the strength to pull you?
Could you resist a magnet?
Hold you up, hold a person who's dangling for one thing, and kind of being.
It seems to be pulling
yanked
over a Jeep. It's trying to drive away. But I guess there's less metal around the chain.
But she got pulled into there,
So yeah, I mean, probably not. And if it's that strong, her arm probably gets torn off too.
Yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, it's
whatever.
Probably not the most accurate, Mr. De Tyson. However, Juliet survives the fall. At the bottom of the well there, she finds the undetonated bomb and hits it with a rock until it explodes. We're not done yet with the episode. That is the end of the episode. We're gonna do 2007 now. But I just want to mention here that like she blows up the nuke, and we see the inverted lost title at the end. Usually we see white text on a black background, and here we see black text on a white background.
Oh, what's up with that?
What's up with that? All right.
Wait, can I say one thing
Yes.
about the title?
Yes.
Actually, the black title. So this is the worst time I could have brought
This is
this
the
up.
only episode that you can't say this, but go ahead.
Do you know? Well, you don't know because you don't watch on Netflix like me. But on
Do
Netflix,
they do an autoplay?
on Netflix, they do a. They have the little button that pops up that allows you to skip the title, which allows you to skip almost exactly 1.5 seconds because it just skips, as it appears.
Oh, at the beginning of it. Yes.
Just the title
Yeah.
card. It just lets you skip it. And then so it just moves forward and then you see it exit the screen. I do it sometimes if I'm trying to claw back some time for my evening.
That's efficiency right there. Every second counts. You aren't getting the full effect though, so demerit on that count. So in 2007, this was the last stretch. Locke, Ben, Sun, and the others travel to the remains of the statue whose name we don't know, where Jacob resides. Locke assigns Ben the task of killing Jacob, reminding Ben of all the negative things that have happened to him. His sass is back. He's like, "You cancer-having ass, daughter-dying ass bitch. Why don't you fucking kill Ben, dude?"
Yep.
Or kill Jacob. Damn it. Ben admits he has never seen Jacob. All communication with Jacob was through notes brought back by Richard, including the lists of people to be taken from the Oceanic 815 survivors. So I haven't done too much thinking about this show generally, but like I'm just now thinking like, all right, should I try to process the ramifications of, all right, now we've seen Jacob and we've seen that like these notes and such from Jacob. So he was giving Ben the notes of like get Jack and Hurley and Kate and Michael to show up, right? Those things are like, we need Walt. That was all Jacob's doing, presumably.
Yeah.
So is there anything I need to think through about that? It's not really coming to mind, so I don't know. I suppose hopefully something will be revealed in time. Meanwhile, a group of survivors from Majura Flight 316, including Elena and Bram, travel to Jacob's cabin with Frank Lapidus and a crate from the plane's cargo. They find the cabin deserted and set it all the way the fuck on fire after realizing someone else has been using it.
Yeah.
It's sure be up in flames. They then travel to the statue. Their group arrives after Ben and Locke enter a chamber at the base of the statue's remains. They approach, and Alana asks Richard what lies in the shadow of the statue, and Richard replies with some Latin stuff, and it seems like that translates "He who will save us all," or "He who is here to serve us all," something like that, or "He who will heal us all," something along those lines.
Something along those lines, yeah.
If my Latin isn't quite up to par, but I think that's how I would translate it.
Were they really calling people Ricardo in Latin? Ricardos? Ricardos?
What do you mean in Latin? Like,
well, because they call them Ricardos. They're like, where's
they do,
Ricardos? Yes. He says, actually, it's Richard.
Actually, it's Richard. So they reveal the contents of the crate. And it is John Locke's body. And that's when it clicks. Bosch has been impersonating Locke. Locke is actually Bosch. Oh shit. Inside the statue, the man in black has been impersonating Locke. Inside the statue, Ben stabs Jacob to death. And his final words are a warning. They're coming. The man in black kicks Jacob's body into the fire.
Nice.
Which, like, I don't know if that's still like the loophole. Like, because Jacob's like, oh, you found your loophole, didn't you? And he's like, yeah. And then, Ben stabs Jacob, and then
Well, I
Locke
think the
kicks him into the fire.
loophole is getting somebody else to kill him, right?
Yeah, but Locke pushes him into the fire. I feel like that's going to kill him, not the stab wounds.
No,
I feel like it's still Locke that kills him.
I think he was dead. You think would you rather get stabbed or be pushed into a fire? I think I'd rather be pushed into a fire.
Stabbed?
But it's stabbed a bunch of times in the heart.
Definitely that. That's faster.
Faster? Well, I'm planning on surviving. That's why.
Oh, wait. No, what? If I'm, well, then stabbed still.
I think if somebody kicked me into
Burning's
the fire.
is literally like the worst, isn't it?
No. Maybe. I don't know.
Nothing compared to being stabbed, apparently. I'm pretty sure getting burned is the worst, dude.
But you can survive burns. I guess you can survive stabs too.
Well, if you're saying we're gonna survive one or the other, both of them, then
No, I'm not saying you're gonna survive. I'm saying I'm planning on it. I'm choosing the one.
I'm planning on being surviving the stabs.
I'm choosing the one that I think I could survive.
Okay, I would. Well, no, I don't know, man. I don't want to get burned. I don't want to get burned up.
I don't really want to do either. Yeah, I guess that's what I choose.
Well, no, I'm saying that's gonna lead. My aversion to, even if there's a greater chance of surviving the burns, I'm still gonna choose to get stabbed in the heart because I do not want to deal with being burned.
Okay. Fine.
Feels like that's fine with me. Bad time.
Will is chosen, folks.
Like it sounds like there's enough for everyone to go around. Like we'll each, yeah.
We have one stab and one.
That's
burn
why we work so well together.
Lined up.
But before he gets stabbed, or before he stabs Jacob, Ben is like, confronts him. He's like, "Why did you never show yourself to me? You ignored me this whole time, but now you'll pay attention to me." And Jacob's like, "You got a choice, man. Whatever Locke asked you, whatever he told you to do, you have a choice. You can do it or not." And Ben's like, "What about me, man? Like what about me?" And then Jacob says, "What about you, bitch?" And then that's when Ben stabs him to death. He doesn't say bitch, but like he does give him a, "What about you,
dear Slim?"
Dear Slim.
I wrote you, but you ain't calling.
Yeah, it's a real. Jacob really doesn't have too many self-preservation instincts. There, kind of interesting, but yeah, man, that's the end of the episode, or at least that's
the end of this
everything
Wikipedia article. Yeah, it actually ended the way it ended 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
This feels like a tremendously consequential episode.
Yeah. Can you imagine if it wasn't?
I mean, I feel like I've been let down. I was let down with the season 4 finale.
Sure. Well, I just meant consequential as in, it's one of the, I don't know, bigger things, I guess, that might happen. Even if season 6 is just, something unrelated.
Yeah.
It'd still be consequential. I can't wait till you see, well, let's rate it, but I can't wait till you see who's showing up in the first episode of next season.
Oh, damn.
I'm back in the zone of like remembering stuff from when I watched it the first time around. So got some characters, got some actors showing up.
Ooh, okay. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to rate this a 5. This is a 5 to me. This is the best finale. Not the best. This is a great finale.
Yeah, it's probably, I guess I wasn't planning on it, but it's probably a 5 for me too. Pretty good.
5.
Really good. It's pretty good. Really good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good, really good. We get another, patented, they blow stuff up moment in a finale. Yep. That's always great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else we want to say about either of these episodes, or the finale or season 5 altogether. I guess
Well,
what are our overall thoughts
I've
about
been
the season?
okay, yeah, you can go. You can go with that first, and then I've got a question for you.
Okay. I liked it. Go ahead.
Well, I want to know. Now I'm steamrolling your question, but I want to know once again, what do you think is going to happen next? I think I've been checking in with you on this every season, roughly.
Okay. So I voiced a couple episodes ago that I do think that there's a way for them to change the future. Actually, there's been this idea that they couldn't change the future because of what happened, all that. But I suspect there maybe was, and I guess it has to do with this nuke that blew up the electromagnetic energy, like that disrupts the time flow enough. I'm guessing that it does actually change the future. It wasn't just a case of them, because so Miles posits, like, didn't you people ever think that he's just gonna cause the events he's trying to avoid? Glad you guys thought this through, which is exactly what Daniel was doing so far. He just caused the events that he was trying to avoid. But I think that this actually does change things. And I think it's because Juliet was in the tunnel. I think it's because of Juliet, because Jacob did not nudge her. She is this X factor. She's the variable. She is the thing that changed all this. That I think Jacob's whole like thing was about I don't know, getting like pulling the right things, the little butterfly effect here, that get everything to work together. But Juliet's love for Sawyer and that stuff did not come into play with it. And she did not she was not being considered by Jacob. I'm just guessing that. And as far as where it leaves things, I find it hard to believe that it really is just like a total reset. Like nothing from the first 5 seasons happens or matters at all, and there's nothing. But maybe we will get like everybody back. Are we gonna see that first? We're gonna be on the airplane again and see everyone just lands in LAX. We're gonna see Claire give up her baby for adoption, and then we're gonna sort of see how that plays out, and then like something else is gonna happen to make them all still meet and get back to the island anyway.
The Red Sox don't win the World Series. Do win the World Series. Oh shit.
As far as what's going on with the Man in Black and Jacob, again, I just kind of have no. I'm bad at predicting where things are going. I don't know. Where do you think things are going?
What about the Egypt stuff? What do you think about that?
I think that we're gonna hopefully finally get some more context for what's going on with the others about this like long-standing order. I'm still like my theory about like this island has been a special place for ever, and that like various cultures and civilizations have realized it as such, and that like these ancient Egyptians were the first to sort of.
Oh, you think they're Egyptian?
The the hieroglyphs and stuff.
Yeah, well, yes, but I guess I'm asking, do you think that Bosch is Egyptian? I'm not joking. I mean, actually, do you think that Bosch is
Well, I
and
think
Jacob
that
are literally Egyptian? Is that why you think the Egypt stuff is there? Or
no, I think that they are. I think they are sort of like that. I think they're sort of gods or something along those lines.
Mhm.
That the Egyptians were the ones to describe them as such,
Mm.
and put like forms to them, um, and created some sort of order, uh, that and eventually ended up being the others. And Richard serves as the advisor in this order over the many years.
Mm.
So his roots in it's his roots in like ancient Egyptian stuff, but I
Mm.
don't know if like they them. I don't think they're humans. I don't think Bosch is a human.
Mm. What do you think is going to happen with Penelope's dad?
So let's see. He and Ben were fighting because we see like Bram says that they're the good guys a couple of times. He says that to Miles, and he says that to Frank, and it seems like they end up being in alignment with Richard when they show up. They're like they do the code word, and they're able to like talk to each other and like, oh, okay, what's going on here? It seems like they were allied or part of the same group, and they serve Jacob, who wears the white shirt. Man in Black wears the black. I'm inclined, and Bosch has been doing tricks, being devious. So I'm intending to think that Jacob is generally good and Bosch is bad. And so
Mm.
uh what's going on is like, so Ben and Charles have had this rivalry, but they were both technically trying to serve Jacob, right? Um but Ben was maybe just doing it for power, and was Charles more earnest about it? Is he actually was Ben the Julian of everything that rises must converge? That he was trying to he was on the right side of things, as in trying to serve Jacob, but he's doing it more for social posturing, as in to create social control, rather than earnestly serve whatever divine ends that Jacob is trying
Mm.
to further, and
Mm.
Widmore is. I don't know. I feel like it seems they can't be the case. It feels wrong to think that like, oh, Charles Widmore is actually a good guy in this. So I'm gonna say that neither of them are good guys.
Mm. Okay. I've got one more.
A Smoke Monster. I want to
Oh, sure.
talk about that
Oh,
too.
okay. Opine on Smoke Monster.
Opponent Smoke Monster seems to be an independent entity from Jacob of some kind.
Okay.
Or is Jacob speaking? I guess I don't know what that's about. My opinion is I don't know what's going on there.
What about, okay, so my very last one, unless you had any other things,
Mm-mm.
Mr. Christian Dr. Shepherd. What's up with him? What's happening? What's next for the man, the myth?
He appeared to Locke as kind of a go-between. Like he seemed to be he kind of seemed to. Oh, so someone else was using the cabin. That's right. That's what they observed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ilana and team observed that, and maybe that's what Christian was doing. So maybe he's a wild card in this. Man, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Okay.
Hmm.
There you
I
have
feel
it.
like I should be able to put things together better than I am, but again, I'm just kind of watching for fun. Vibing.
There we go. There we go. Folks, we're watching for fun. Just keep it in mind.
Is there anything else we want to say? Gone long, but this is big. This is the last time we're gonna be able to talk about a finale without like knowing all the answers.
Show.
And I guess knowing us that we're gonna be a lot of it's gonna go over our heads.
Wow, I wonder what that meant. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's going to be it for the show today. If you like what you heard and want to hear more from Ben and I, consider joining our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton, Dr. Skeleton. Every week, Ben and I release a bonus hangout show and get into this stuff that's simply too hot for the main feed. Our latest premium episode is, I think, one of our best we've ever recorded. We talk a lot about a crazy cabin that we found in the wilderness of Colorado with some interesting features. You want to check that out. That's on patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Right into the show at drskeletinsartschool@gmail.com. Comment down below. What are the obvious things that we've missed here to pick up on in the finale? What's something that is staring us in the face that we should have put together by now? Next week, we're going to be seeing who Ben is talking about showing up in season 6. We'll be watching season 6, episodes 1 and 2.